Another Coco no-no?
Oh, no. Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Treknalysis. Yep, we're talking about this episode, and one day we'll be talking about that episode, but specifically Geordi La Forge's love problems. I mean, let's be real, Data had more luck with women than Geordi. What the hell? Starting off his tenure as a con officer before rising to the rank of chief engineer, after the Enterprise went through a weekly string of chief engineers, mind you, Geordi La Forge has been a staple on Star Trek The Next Generation from the start. Instantly recognizable by his visor that allows him to see, Geordi was always a hard-working, capable fellow, always pulling the Enterprise out of hairy situations. Smart, personable, and with a good job, you would think Geordi wouldn't have any issues finding himself a nice girl, right? Well, not exactly. While Geordi has been seen talking with women in a professional setting with complete confidence, the Season 3 episode Booby Trap sees him struggling to make connections with women, which leads to some creepy results later on. So, we need to talk about Geordi and Leah Brahms, specifically holographic Leah Brahms. But before I go any further, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I talk a lot about Star Trek, video games, and whatever else I feel like talking about. Be great to have you aboard. The episode starts with Geordi on a date with a woman named Christy. Geordi's a little awkward, but the date doesn't look that bad. I mean, sure, there's some awkward silence, but that's normal in any kind of interaction. I'm sure the date'll pick up soon. Okay, clearly she's not thrilled. Red alert! Red alert!
Geordi.
Christy makes a break for it because while Geordi is a terrific guy, she just doesn't feel that way about him.
You're a terrific guy. I just don't feel that way about you.
Now, I have a question. Why did you go on a moonlit walk on the beach in the holodeck with him, Christy? I mean, it wasn't like you were both going to a baseball game or mini golfing or hanging out at the arcade, stuff that friends do together. Moonlit walk on the beach? That's a definite romantic setting. Like, why would you put yourself in that situation unless you had feelings for the guy?
I just don't feel that way about you.
And now before you go off on me for giving Christy a hard time, Geordi's at fault here too. For one thing, Christy was clearly not enjoying the date, and then he creeps up slowly next to her and puts his arm around her. Geordi, read the room. The other thing is that Christy let him down easily. She wasn't a jerk about it and was pretty direct. You're a great guy, I just don't feel that way about you.
You're a terrific guy. I just don't feel that way about you.
But Geordi doesn't take it well.
Lovely program, and...
Yeah. Knock it off.
Look, I get it. Geordi's disappointed, but he's very obviously annoyed, even to the point of acting like a jerk about it.
Knock it off.
Women pick up on these things, Geordi. Maybe she might have given you a second chance later on, or maybe even introduced her cute friend to you. Something. But now, don't count on it because she's probably looking at you right now like, what a jerk. And her friends are probably going to hear about it.
I hate men.
Well, take a number. Take a spoon.
Geordi decides to drown his sorrows and 10 forward with some not-so-kitty cocktails, and the true ship's counselor, Guinan, approaches the down-in-the-recycle-bin engineer. And Geordi starts asking Guinan questions about women.
Tell me something, Guinan. You're a woman, right?
Pondering life's toughest questions there, Geordi. Geordi asks Guinan what she looks for in a man, and Guinan lets down an interesting little tidbit.
I'm attracted to bald men.
Huh, that puts her friendship with Picard in a new light. Also, I guess this is Guinan rejecting Geordi's advances well in advance.
I'm attracted to bald men.
I kid, of course. Geordi explains that he can't figure out why he can't make anything work with a woman like Christy. After all, he's a capable engineer, he's no dummy, he just doesn't know what to say to women.
You can get women.
Guinan points out that he's actually doing alright talking with her right now.
You're different. No, you're different.
but I'm not trying now.
That's my point.
Now, I have to talk about this. Geordi isn't even a bad catch. Like, at all. He's a smart guy. After all, he runs an entire department. He's not particularly withdrawn like somebody like Barclay. He's got a pretty good amount of confidence in the show up to this point. Heck, he's not even bad looking. I have a hard time buying that he's having this much trouble with women. Heck, even Data gets more dates than him. What the hell? Now, we don't know much about his dating history at this point in the show, and we especially don't know his history with Christy. Was this a first date? In which case, the setting was probably a little more serious than it should have been, and this move was probably a little strong. Or are they a couple dates in, where a moonlit walk in the holodeck isn't that weird? But this move might still be a little strong. Is his problem that he's going too fast, that he doesn't read the room, or is it even both? I know the episode suggests that he's just trying too hard and that's his problem, but I think not being able to read the room or going too fast is more of a problem with him. Now, the main dilemma of the episode, and the reason for the episode's title, is the Enterprise responding to a distress signal of a long-dead ship when they too end up trapped in the same booby trap that trapped the other ship. If they can't get out, they risk being radiated to death.
Is it possible? We fall into the same snare that killed them?
Now, I know this is probably the episode's A-plot, but you know what? I'm focusing on Geordi's romantic woes.
Great.
Geordi's given the task of keeping the Enterprise running, so he begins delving into the audio logs of the Galaxy-class warp core designer Leah Brahms. One thing leads to another, and Geordi creates the drafting room where Leah designed the warp core on the holodeck. You know, the same holodecks where Riker does this?
What's a knockout like you doing in a computer-generated gin joint like this?
Yeah, I know there are practical applications for the holodeck. It's just that they're almost never used that way. Heck, Geordi's already getting a little weird with the logs.
Personal logs are restricted.
Great. Another woman who won't get personal with me on the holodeck.
You see, it's lines like that that don't help Geordi's creep factor.
Another woman who won't get personal with me on the holodeck.
Things take an even weirder turn when Geordi accidentally, tells the computer to generate an image of Leia.
Did do that, didn't I?
Did I do that?
Now, Holo Leia has the personality of a cardboard box, which should be sufficient since Geordi's just doing research to figure out how to get out of the booby trap, right?
Computer, do you have any, personality on file for Dr. Brahms?
Geordi, you're all going to die in 20 minutes and you're worried about a hologram not having a personality?
Our lives are in your hands and you have butterfingers?
Are you with me?
Yeah.
We're doomed. Of course, maybe Holo Leia with a personality wasn't as cracked up as it was supposed to be.
No.
Will you listen to me?
This is my design we're talking about. I did the calculation myself. I don't care if you built it with your bare hands on an operating cargo ship.
Okay, engineers arguing back and forth, that's not all that weird. But then, things take another weird turn.
I know my ship. Inside and out.
Well, then you must know me inside and out. Because a lot of me is in here.
I'm sorry, what the hell kind of program did you create, Geordi? With a lot of technobabble back and forth, Geordi and Leia continue to work on getting the Enterprise out of certain death, but the computer doesn't want to take any chances on the conversation getting any weirder than it already is.
Energy reserves reaching critical stage.
Computer!
Captain, I need you to restore power to the holodeck. My hologirl, I need resources to do my job. With the clock ticking away, Geordi and Leia get back to work, trading some more technobabble back and forth. After all, it's all business for these two.
Do you like Italian food?
I love Italian. And so do you.
Yes.
Like it? Wait till I make you my fungili.
We're about to die!
And I'm not used to dying.
What the is this? You guys are wasting ship's resources and time. Let's not forget time.
This is no time to argue about time. We don't have the time.
on Chakotay Janeway activities.
Oh, that feels good.
I don't want to feel that good right now.
And look who walks in at the perfect moment. You see that face? That's the face you make when you're all about to die and your chief engineer is on a date with his hollow girlfriend. But Geordi has a plan. It turns out that he and Leia weren't just making weird goo-goo eyes at each other the entire time. Geordi actually came up with a plan.
I got a plan that'll keep us together.
So, what is the plan? Letting his hollow girlfriend drive the ship.
This is my worst nightmare.
And this is the only way.
I think so, sir.
We're doomed. Of course, in the simulations, it turns out that Leia isn't the best pilot for the job after all. But this gives Geordi an idea. Turn off almost every system on the ship and pilot the ship with a couple of thrusters and don't leave it up to the computer. He spent all that time in the holodeck to come to the conclusion that we shouldn't rely on computers. Picard's all,
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
And doesn't want to leave anything up to chance on a lesser pilot and sits himself down at the helm. Get in, losers, we're boldly going. With some fancy flying and a pretty sweet soundtrack, Picard is able to pilot the Enterprise around an asteroid to slingshot the ship out of the booby trap. Geordi has one final heart-to-heart with Holo Leia. You know, maybe they can get together and do this again sometime.
I'm with you every day, Geordi. Every time you look at this engine, you're looking at me. Every time you touch it,
you're gonna get slapped. With a kiss, Geordi ends the holo program as the episode comes to a close. Will Geordi ever see Holo Leia again? Well, that's a subject for another video.
I swear.
I'm outraged by this.
And that was the Season 3 episode Booby Trap. Not a bad episode and a pretty sweet soundtrack with 80 synthesizers, but I'm not a fan of how Geordi was handled in the episode. I could maybe buy Geordi having troubles with women because he doesn't know what to say if he was shown to be somewhat reserved and awkward up to this point in the show, but he really isn't. Instead, he's shown to be enthusiastic and confident most of the time. Sure, everyone gets nervous on dates, especially first dates, but I just don't buy this level of awkwardness from him. Maybe rather than emphasize Geordi's awkwardness, they should have focused on his taking relationships too fast. That's something I could believe about a confident guy. It could have even translated over to his working with Holo Leah Brahms. Maybe with Geordi exhibiting some reflection that his emotions are getting out of control, that this really isn't the real Leia. Heck, that this Leia isn't even real, she's a hologram. What we got instead is a nerdy guy who can't talk to women, and it just doesn't feel right for the character that we've seen in the show up to this point. I could also talk about the ethical implications of the computer creating a version of Leia that's rather flirty, but that's more of a subject for the Season 4 sequel episode, Galaxy's Child.
I'm outraged by this.
In the end, I still like Geordi as a character. He's a likable guy. But the writers did him a disservice making him this shy and awkward around women. A little is fine. This, however, not so much. So, what do you think? How did you like the episode Booby Trap? Did you love it? Did you hate it? How well do you think Geordi's character was handled in the episode? Are you interested in seeing me talk about Galaxy's Child or maybe another episode? And what are some episodes where your favorite character wasn't handled well? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Treknalysis. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Another Coco no-no?